Hey comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, you're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to do that all-important Secret Wars review so you, the fans, know what Secret Wars books to buy. And today, fans, we're going to be talking about the Infinity Gauntlet issue #1, Secret Wars tie-in. That's right. Now, you notice here on the cover you have Thanos, Peter Quill, and you have about 4 different Novas on here. So what is this story about? You know, and obviously it's not the same as the true Infinity Gauntlet, because if you've been reading these Secret Wars titles now, things are a lot different in some of these books. This particular book is written by Jerry Duggan and Dustin Weaver. The artwork is pretty nice here. We get to see the title page in here, which is really well done. It's got the Infinity Gems in there, which is really cool. And we wind up seeing that the artwork is pretty nice as well. It's set in this bug-infested like world. I think the characters' facial expressions were pretty good in here. The creatures were kind of eerie and creepy, and I liked it. I may have liked a little bit better coloring in this book, but I guess I can understand because this is a very dark type of world, and it's a dark setting. So I think that's where I was drawn away from it a little bit, was the coloring in here. But overall, the artwork, I think, was pretty well done here. Now, just to let you guys know, there is some spoilers in this review, so if you have not read your copy yet, read your copy and then come back and watch my review and give me your comments in the comments below. So, all right, here we go. So the first thing that we see in this is this apocalyptic world, wherever they're at. It really doesn't say in this issue, and I wanted to show you my battle map in this review, but I couldn't do it this time because I don't really know where it takes place. But we wind up finding that there's this dog, and his name is Zigzag, and he's smelling things around, and you see this narration by this young girl, and I guess her name is Anwin, I think that's the way it is. And she has her family, and she's missing her mother. And her mother was part of the Nova Corps, which was interesting. And she was set that, that she was going to come save the world and come back, and that never really happened. And we can see, again, that this world is in this apocalyptic setting, and our family here, our family cast of characters, is hiding from these gigantic, huge insects. And it's cool to see the interactions between this family. You know, they're in a tough situation. They're bickering. There's very little food. There's very little, water. They can't even light a fire because they're afraid of these bugs that are coming. And then all of a sudden, throughout this issue, you wind up seeing these crazy ass. They're not just like bugs. Like, for some reason, I thought bugs. I was thinking maybe some kind of I don't know, some kind of robots, and they just called them bugs, but they were literally freaking big-ass insects, and I'm sitting there freaking out seeing these creatures. This reminded me of, like, Starship Troopers, if you guys ever saw that movie, and I was just like, holy crap. And this whole issue, you've seen these bugs are, like, pretty much, searching and going after this family, and I'm reading this, I'm like, the only cosmic thing that was even mentioned was her mother being a Nova. And as I'm flipping through these pages, I'm sitting there going, am I going to see anything that has to do with Infinity Gauntlet? I'm sitting there going, she has to come across a stone, or the gauntlet, or there has to be some kind of hint going forward that this is somehow related to the Infinity Gauntlet. And so as the issue progresses and she tries to save her grandfather, she notices that there is a dead core member in there, and one of the bugs ate one of the Infinity Gems, and as she beat up this little bug, she recovers it, and she puts it in her pocket. And when she recovers to the surface, we wind up finding out that a whole bunch of flash of lightning comes, and the next thing you wind up seeing is you get to see Anwin's mother come back into play. And she's like, well, see, I told you I would come back. And she's a badass looking Nova. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool, And she's like, oh, yeah, I told you I'd come back. And then right away we find out that Thanos is aware of where the mind gem is at, and he's carrying a stone of himself there. And then basically that's how the book ends. And going into the next issue, I don't know if this cover stays true, but it looks like he's going to be going against a Nova and for a couple of the stones. So interesting story here. I totally did not expect the whole bug thing. You get a totally different cast of characters, I think, which is neat. You don't have to sit there and kind of shovel your way through or think about if a particular character's from this universe or what version is this character. These are new characters that are introduced into an Infinity Gauntlet setting that has to do with the stones, and I thought it was pretty well done. And that's kind of like what I do like about this week's books I've read so far, when it comes to where monsters dwell and this Infinity Gauntlet, is that, again, there's new cast of characters, and it's just these new stories, and so far I'm enjoying it. This one was solid. It took a while for me to to get really into the book, because I was wondering when the action was going to happen, or when this is really going to have to do with the gems, but by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, wow, this is a good payoff, and it was really a setup of what's going forward here. So after reading this one, I'm going to give this one probably a 4 out of 5 stars. Really enjoyed this one. Definitely worth continuing reading and seeing how it all plays out. And where does Peter Quill fit in all of this? I guess we'll find out in the future. And does the whole family become Nova Corps members? I don't know. Again, we'll find out. So fans, leave me your comments below on what you thought of this particular issue. And fans, as always, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. And until that next comic book review, fans, you can check me out now on Comic Amino, which is the comic application for an entire comic community. You can also catch my videos there, as well as my Frontline videos. I do all kinds of polls. I show images on there. So it's a lot more content from me that you'll see on there. So check that out. So guys, as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on that next review. Take care, fans.